You really killed a cat? Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Void podcast. I bring you your glorious hosts.
I'm Sean.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Mike. Let's rock and roll. All right, you guys, did anybody get a chance to check out that new Constantine show?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all watched it. Good deal. Good episode.
I like how you assume
Move
we
on.
all
I
watched it.
know. Like, that's all I had to do this week was
Yeah.
watch Constantine.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all that we did was text each other for like 3 days. Anybody watch it yet?
Like 12-year-old girls. Sean, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed it, especially for a show on NBC about a comic book, a comic book series.
Especially one for that has such an adult nature to it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like, wasn't there something though with him smoking? I
Huge
feel like-
deal.
Yeah, I
sure.
think Bert mentioned it actually to me that there was like, they just kind of copped out of him actually being a chain smoker.
Well, I think it was a deal with NBC where they didn't want to show him smoking because he's such a cool cat. They didn't want the kids picking up that bad habit. However, in the bar scene, just after the big boss fight, he is seen putting out a cigarette at the bar, just ashing it out. They don't show him smoking, but they snuck that scene in, I think, as an ode.
Being a complete lush is just fine.
Sure, yeah, you can drink on TV, but
Yeah.
if you fire up a tobacco stick, you're done for.
I think that'll be a fun thing for them to hint at throughout the entire series is just
Agreed.
not him smoking, putting one out, about to light one. He played with his lighter not the entire episode, but there were scenes where he was fiddling with his Zippo. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep, and of course, Constantine is a character. It's a whole bit about him smoking, the cancer, the whole thing. So it's a major player in his life. But to not see it, like, he's supposed to be like a pack-a-day smoker, obviously, or maybe even more. That's one of the things that gets held against him. But there were some fun little ditties in there. If you, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you called the phone number on Constantine's business card, he answers the phone.
What's the phone number? Did you write it down?
Yeah, I got it over here. Also, there was this other bit with Dr. Fate. Did you guys happen to see the helmet?
The helmet, yeah.
That's all I do is watch out for helmets.
Yeah, that's what DC likes to do. Sneaks helmets in here and there, It was like Captain America's shield on the other side, Oh, we saw on Stark's table, Captain America's shield.
I thought it was cool to see the helmet, and it looked familiar to me, and Mike was explaining who Dr. Fate was and the helmet and everything. And then it clicked with me. It was a big focal point on Smallville.
Yeah.
There was like a 2 or 3 episode arc just surrounding that helmet and the Legion with the rings and...
Super cool part.
That's actually kind of what I'm wondering too, is like how many cameos or characters or even storylines can they do tied in with this? Not that they need to do a lot because Constantine can obviously hold his own water, and wherever they want to take this series, I feel like it'll be fine as a standalone. But
yeah,
who owns like the rights to what for the TV shows? Because there's like the WB stuff, and this is what is this on?
This is on NBC.
NBC.
So yeah, it's kind of tricky with everybody involved in different spots.
Right.
CW, what the other DC property, The Flash,
Gotham.
That's Fox.
They're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I mean everywhere. The phone number would be an Atlanta, Georgia phone number, which is cool because that's where he is.
Yep.
It's 404-248-7182.
Call him up.
Call him up. He has a little message for you. So just speaking on likeness versus performance, we've had Spider-Mans, we've had different Batmans, we've had different Hulks. I mean, more recently, we just see news out that Benedict Cumberba is playing Doctor Strange. Is that confirmed?
I thought it was Cumberbatch.
It is confirmed. Don't somebody saying cucumber butt.
I think Cucumber Butt is
Benedict
apropos.
Cumberbatch, that's what he will be known for from this day forward.
Sean's imagining crazy things.
Just cucumbers and butts.
Yeah, confirmed.
Confirmed?
Confirmed.
Outstanding. I'm not a huge Cumberbatch. Is that what they call him? Cumberbatcher?
Sure.
I'm not a huge Cumberbatcher. I thought he did a serviceable job as Khan, but I would have preferred someone else. He wasn't as hardcore. That's what maybe stirs up a little something for me with Doctor Strange. But how do you, any Doctor Strange fans in the house?
Yes.
do it.
I really like it. I mean, I think you're getting a little bit of likeness out of it, and that I think you can easily, give just, some hair and little gray stripes, and he's good to go. Throw on a crazy wicked robe on him, and he's Doctor Strange. And I like him as an actor. I know Sean has his issues with him and the way that he does act.
I feel like he spent most of his time on stage and then got thrown into the films. So a lot of his stage acting is still present in the films. Like his facial expressions piss me off.
Well, I mean, a lot of stage actors have made the transition. I will throw, because guys know I'm going to throw a Star Trek reference in here. I will throw Patrick Stewart out, who was a stage actor and was given a shot doing Star Trek The Next Generation. Granted, it wasn't a movie, but it ran 7 years, and it was mind-blowing. So the guy, knew how to do it. So stage, it's not always that way, that transition. I think it's unique to Benedict Cumberbatch. What about you?
Benedict Cucumber Patch.
Cucumber Patch. I mean, I've seen pictures of him next to renditions of Doctor Strange by the various comic book artists. This is close. But I mean, performance-wise, do you think he's going to come out and just...
Yeah, because it's almost similar to me. What I have in mind is it's actually almost similar to Robert Downey being Iron Man, and that who plays a more a better just arrogant, just a kind of a smart ass kind of guy, but can back it up. I feel like it's gonna be like that because Doctor Strange is he's just kind of like a quiet jerk.
Yeah.
Especially his origin and then once he starts really getting into the whole mystical arts kind of stuff, he's just, I feel like he's going to play this kind of quiet, jerky, really, his name's obviously fitting because he's a little bit strange.
Yeah. Cumberbatch is strange a little bit to me.
He is. He really is. So
after I saw everything he went through to be Smaug, I was like, that dragon is... Smaug is Benedict Cumberbatch. He's just the whole face, the whole bit, because they did the mocap,
Oh, yeah, and he's actually crawling around.
Right.
Once I heard that Benedict Cumberbatch was Smaug, that's all I could see out of that. It wasn't a dragon anymore. It was just a giant Benedict Cumberbatch crawling through gold piles.
There's that face I hate.
Yeah.
I can just see him going I'm Smaug, and I'm like, I want to punch you.
Talk about inspiring game moments here for a moment. I think for me... one of the most inspiring game moments I've had was in recent times. A friend of mine introduced me to Star Trek Online, and one of the most inspiring moments in that game was earning my starship and being a starship captain, and then having and navigating that ship in space. It was pretty awesome. I'm sorry. There was just something epic about it. I just stared at the screen. I have this, big TV that I have the computer plugged into, and I just stared at the screen and went to warp, and it just blew me up.
Just felt like a personal victory for you.
Unbelievable.
What did you have to do to get that starship?
Well, it's like any game where you level up, you have missions that you have to complete, and then you level up as a character, and you have your leveling tree. So you just build your character up, and once you get an escort at first, which is a much smaller ship. And then you go into the battle cruisers and then the science vessels. So far, I've been a captain of the 1701, the original, the Next Generation 1701D, and also the Voyager ship too, the science vessel. I've fell in love with that game at that moment, man. Hugely inspiring for me.
My inspirational moment actually comes from Portal 2 when you pick up the Cave Johnson recordings. And you're listening to him, and each one of them, I believe he's getting sick throughout all of the recordings.
Yeah.
And towards the end of them, you pick up this one, and he is really just starting to fail. But he does this amazing rant about life giving you lemons and not accepting them. So what I took it as is this man who is losing everything, his company, his health, and I believe he had something going on with the secretary.
I think he had a lady love, yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, I guess it was Caroline. Was that her name?
That sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, it was Caroline. And then even though he's losing all this stuff, he's still fighting the good fight.
Yeah, he's got this really stern, that quote is just really, it shows his strength.
Yeah,
as a character, actually.
It comes across as comedy, but I found the underlying inspiration there, and I thought that was kind of cool of them to do.
Hey, anybody who asks you to get mad and take it for what it is, it's pretty sweet.
I'm going to have my engineers build a combustible lemon. I've lost it.
Burn the house down.
Yeah, this is just to show where we were all at when we thought of this. Completely different directions here. Mine is mine's a story about our friend Jeff. Avid gamer pretty much his whole life, and for those that don't know, he was diagnosed with cancer. He's actually been cancer-free now for 20 years. So congratulations, Jeff.
Congrats, Jeff.
Congratulations.
And he lost his arm to cancer. Had his arm amputated, and to me, I'm gonna compliment gaming in that, like, he didn't let any of that beat him, and he even learned, a new way to play. Like, he wasn't just gonna give up. He wasn't gonna lose his passion for gaming or for life or for anything. And that's just incredible to me that, like, I've even played like shooters with the man, and he's never given up on anything, and that's, to me, one of the greatest stories that actually exists in my life.
Very inspiring. Not just, gaming because it's all about the gaming at this point, but all around, like you said.
Yeah.
Just all around.
I was going to say, he's a very, very positive person, and I love that. Everybody needs somebody like Jeff in their life.
Absolutely. And if you don't have Jeff in your life, you're pretty well fucked.
It's not a life that I want.
You're pretty well fucked.
You're pretty well fucked. Hey, do you guys, when you're playing games, like throw Diablo out there because we've all played that.
Oh, I fucking hate playing Diablo with you. Hey guys, let's get this all set. Where the fuck is
Where
Mike?
the fuck is Walford?
Dude. I'm off taking a piss. Mike's 40 levels in
man,
already.
I'm like all the way into the dungeon yelling chips. Because Walford has the tank at the time. You had the tank.
Yeah.
We just come in and clean out a room, and I'd just be bombarded with enemies. But I mean, in a game setting like that, you have multiple difficulty settings. It's the way I play. If I'm gonna start a game, if I start it on normal, I'm less inclined to play on hard difficulty. I would be more inclined on playing, especially on Diablo, on their higher difficulty because I'll be playing with friends. But if I don't start a game on hard, I'm less inclined to play it through on hard. So I usually start that way. Do you guys find yourself starting on normal and working your way up, or?
Yeah, and it depends. I definitely start on normal and would work my way up, and it really depends on the game, and if I feel like it is worthy of like a second playthrough, and maybe even also some of the options that they give you. So many games will give you like that new game plus option, so that you you can continue with all your gear and your leveling up that you did, but start a new game over with that stuff from scratch. Then I definitely kick it up.
If there is a story involved in the game, I play it on easy one time. I'm buying a game for the involvement of the story. I'm not so much about the game itself. So I play it on easy. I blow through the levels. I watch the movies, and that's it. I had a Last of Us confession I was going to save for our Last of Us episode.
Save it.
And
just dump it on us, man.
No, I'm dropping it.
Somebody back up that garbage truck.
Yeah,
let's hear the trash.
I'm going to lose all of my friends because of this. But I was playing The Last of Us. I got stuck. I was running out of time. I was getting bored with it, but I wanted to know how it ended. There's a subreddit called Games the Movie, and they posted The Last of Us on there. It's like 6 hours long.
We know. We played it.
So I put the... Well, you two played it.
Yeah.
I got to the point in the game where I was and watched it from there forward. And I'm so glad I did. It was a great story. The ending was amazing.
But you wouldn't have wanted to play through that, eh?
No.
Well, confession night.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
I'm getting the death look from Josh right now. I'm walking home tonight, apparently.
It's less the death look, and I think Josh died from the stress of your story. But a game like that, dude, even on normal, that's a challenging game. It really was. I got hung up in parts.
I got to the bloater part, the very first bloater, and I talk about this all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm going to run around this guy. I'm going to shoot him with a bow and arrow and be done. I got within like a foot of him, and it did that death cutscene where he puts his hands in your mouth and rips the top of your head off.
Oh, yeah.
I put the controller down. I was like, done. gonna go get dinner. I'm done for the day. It's the first game I've ever actually quit playing because I died.
Sean, you let a bloater take you out, bro?
Yeah, it was a bitch move.
Well, I'll tell you my bitch move on Last of Us. I'm sorry, we gotta mention it.
Josh is getting so upset right now.
He walked out, folks. He's
Yeah.
lighting my van on fire. No,
And he took his pants off.
I have to say this for Josh as well. I put the controller down just like you, and I wanted to walk away from that game. And I told this man right here to my right that I would never play this game
It's
again.
my left too.
It's on your left?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, it's on Sean's left. I hated the contrived darkness. I hated the fact that it was so hard when it shouldn't have been so hard. And then he just told me to stick with it, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't rewarded immediately. I wasn't even rewarded a week later. I was rewarded like a month later for my effort. Mm-hmm. So I stuck to that game thanks to this man's persistence. I did get murdered millions of times.
I do regret not playing it, though. After watching how it ended and everything, I was like, I really should have
Get your
played
RAF,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Get your RAF.
I'm not going to need my PS4 for a while, so I'm going to give you that in The Last of Us.
Damn.
And if you don't play through it,
Yeah.
I'll take your PS4.
This relationship is over.
Wow, dude. That brings us to the very next thing. I mean, Sean beautifully laid the framework down. Game incompletes. What is a game that you guys played and just you had to walk away from? Sean said Last of Us, but do you have another one?
Final Fantasy X.
Ooh.
This is ridiculous.
This is just he's out, folks.
He just threw his stuff. That's not getting cut out. That's staying in.
Tell me about it.
No, I got to the part. I didn't play Blitzball because I thought you could just ignore it.
Yeah, Blitzball was sweet.
Yeah, and we got to the scene that I talked about.
Just for the record, you could lose that game.
You can.
I didn't know that, though, because for some reason I kept getting. I thought we could just skip the game, whatever, and we kept getting smashed, and I was like, "Fuck this!" and I'd shut the game off, and I just never got back to beating it.
Wow. Wait, so Blitzball took you out of Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
X.
and I think that's only like
Jesus.
45 minutes into the game too.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's like saying they didn't render the beach correctly, so you
They
walked.
didn't. It was so
It
nice.
was beautiful.
That was the part I was telling you about last week.
That's
that
right.
confused me.
No, you're
Yeah.
right. Once you got into Blitzball, you were done.
Yeah.
Well, Josh,
I
you
wanted
got.
to play Madden instead.
Oh, man, that's a game I love to walk away from.
Game
Josh, you got
incomplete.
one?
I do. Unfortunately, I have several, but I think the one that I would put probably at the top right now is Skyrim.
What's that?
Skyrim. Elder
Sorry?
Scrolls.
Skyrim.
What's a Skyrim?
Skirm.
Skyrim.
A Skirm.
Oh my God,
He
Josh!
scares 'em.
It's called Skyrim. What's Skyrim? Is that like a drink?
Skyrim.
Thank you.
We're going to find
Did I
something
get
to
it
make
right?
fun of Mike for. Don't worry.
Well, no,
We'll find
oddly
some.
enough, now we know he didn't really finish the game. He can't even pronounce it. But Skyrim,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got? What happened to you on that,
Well,
bad dog?
Can you complete Skyrim, though? I mean, there's so many. It's open
Yes.
source.
No.
Like, I beat Dragonheart. I beat all the DLC, and there's, like, no
There's no
end.
like real end, but there's an end
That's
to the
the-
main storyline,
yeah,
right?
that's the content.
There's no,
there's-
end
there's-
credits. Like, oh, you finished this.
Oops.
Go to your home.
I don't think "oops" is ever said when you complete a game. But yeah, tell me more about that.
There's an end to the main story. You can play through the story. There's just 8,000 side quests that you can do and keep it going if you want to. But no, have you played any of the Elder Scrolls games or?
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah. Oblivion is one of my favorite games.
Did you play Skyrim?
I did play Skyrim.
So Skyrim.
Job.
Skyrim. It was an amazing game, and I really did fall in love with it as soon as I started playing, and I loved everything about it. I liked the combat. I loved the open worldness of it, as Sean mentioned, because the scenery in it was just magnificent.
It's pristine.
The soundtrack is amazing. I bought the soundtrack, and then at some point, I think I started playing something else. I got distracted, and I never went back.
For the PC, they have a bunch of mods for it. One of them is like the Star Wars mod, where you can have lightsabers in the Jedi robe.
Oh.
And what they do is one of them is for like the sky. So what you'll see is Alderaan blown to pieces and the Death Star off in the distance.
OMG.
So I spent more time staring at the sky than I did actually playing this game.
Holy smokes! Let me just fish this one in. Our friend Mike, he told me about in Destiny. He's like, wait till you get to the moon. Wait till you get to the moon. He's like, when you get there, look up. So I look up. Of course, there's a destroyed space station, and then satellites just whiz right over your head. It's the coolest thing. So that would have totally distracted me too.
Yeah.
That would have totally distracted me too. I didn't finish that game either. I did finish Final Fantasy X.
How does that end? I can't even remember how it began, to be honest with you.
Luna.
It begins and
ends with Luna. That's how all things begin and end. Let's be honest. My game incomplete is actually going to surprise no one. It's Oregon Trail. Never finished that game.
That surprises the crap out of me. It took like 4 minutes to beat that game.
Yeah, I hated that game, dude.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, my dad, when we were kids, he bought us a computer, which cost him like $3,000. We were playing.
Oh,
yeah. We're going back, dude. We're going back. I was using MS-DOS like a lightning bolt.
I remember when DVD players came out, they were like $500-$600.
Oh my God, yeah. That was crazy. What a crazy time. Now you can like pick one up from the guy over at the gas station for $5 and a slap on the butt. But no, the Oregon Trail, it never held my interest. I know every time I got dysentery, I was done with that piece of shit. I would just walk away from it. But anyone and everyone I know loves that game and has played it to its completion and got X amount of settlers over to the other side. I just didn't have interest in it.
I can't find the copy of it now, but when I was in grade school, they had like this updated, like really sweet graphics version.
Oh, what?
And I don't know if it's the same as the original, but what I would do was I wouldn't load hardly anything in my wagon, and I would just speed run the entire way, and like all but the main character would die, but it only took like 4 minutes to beat.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of like cheating your way through. But no, I mean,
I finished it. That's all that matters.
You're right. Life achievement unlocked. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Oregon Trail, again, when Pops got us that computer, we were playing games like Michael Jordan 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you know what, Oregon Trail can suck it. But inversely, game completes. What was the first game you guys ever completed? Let's say 100%.
Legend of Dragoon.
Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah.
I would have never in a million years picked that for Sean.
I still actually make joke references to that game, especially the part where you get Lance in the beginning and he has that spear poke, and it's gust of wind dance, and he says it like gust of wind dance. We have a lady watching us right now.
Is she cute?
No.
Yeah, Legend of Dragoon. That's really interesting, Sean.
Yeah, I absolutely love that
PlayStation?
game. Yep. Original.
The Last of Us.
Okay, what's your less than obvious favorite game complete?
The Remaining of Everybody.
Last.
I was trying to make a connection.
I quit.
Only one remains. That was Josh's.
That's so much better.
Sean, what was your favorite game complete?
My favorite game complete was Legend of Dragoon, actually.
That was still. So you're gonna stick with that one?
It holds top notch. Yes.
That's crazy, man. I gotta get more into that story. That was the RPG.
Yeah.
Okay. Check that one out. Yeah. I have Assassin's Creed 2. That was my favorite game complete, and that was my first time getting 1,000 gamer score on any game ever.
I have never done that. I have never.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've never 100% or 1,000 point or platinum trophied anything.
I'm actually horrible for asking you if you were serious because that was my first one, and that wasn't that long ago that I did this. So Assassin's Creed 2, I just loved the whole structure of it.
I don't know, man. I might have a few.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's hear them, buddy. Okay.
We can handle a few.
Yes, we like a few.
Chrono Trigger.
Ooh.
Chrono Trigger.
Nice one.
I played that. Yeah, I actually played through that several times. Super Metroid.
That was a cool game too. That was the one on the GameCube?
No. Super Metroid was Super Nintendo.
Super Metroid. Metroid Prime was on GameCube.
Yeah.
Correct, sir.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Don't let it happen again.
What else you got?
Resident Evil 2.
2.
Okay.
2 was good.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I didn't complete any of those.
1,
Sorry.
I didn't beat. 3, I quit when I first saw Nemesis. 4, I never played. 5 I didn't play. I dabbled in 6. I was like, well,
Isn't that a really polarizing series, Resident Evil?
Yeah, they start to get pretty bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what is the deal with PS4 only releasing indie games, which I'm not complaining about because it's still free game, but PS3 having like Arkham Asylum got released. They're dumping all these sweet games. What about the one prior to it?
Because they're not.
I got Fight Night. I mean, I got
What?
Fight Night Champions. I got Borderlands 2.
Yeah, your PS is loaded right
yeah,
now.
all these free games. Well, I mean, I paid for the subscription and the network and stuff, but these are games that
But
are
that's
like 30, 40 bucks a pop
Yeah,
still.
yeah, and new
Yeah.
$60.
Yeah.
What is not meshing with
Well,
the two
Borderlands
systems?
is old. Because they're not putting up, the stores, the online stores aren't the same.
They're not?
So you're not gonna. No,
Are you
not
serious?
Even close.
Really?
Not even close.
I didn't know that.
So does this new PlayStation?
You can't get anything other than PlayStation 4 games on the PlayStation 4 network.
Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy. Well, I guess it's not so crazy. But what about this PlayStation Now thing that's supposed to bring it all back?
And that's supposed to be
Mhm.
streaming, which is also going to be a subscription
Oh.
service again.
Oh, so you have to pay twice,
And-
basically.
Yeah.
Unless they announce, and I haven't been keeping up on it because I don't really care about it too much.
Mhm.
But yeah, the last thing that I read is that I think that would be another subscription service unless they work it into the PlayStation Plus.
So if it's like $10 a month, or no, well, do we know how much it is?
No.
PlayStation Now.
I don't think so. No.
What if it's double the PlayStation Network? Would you guys do that?
Absolutely not.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
All that extra stuff?
No.
It depends on what they make available.
say they
'Cause
charge-
it's not going to be like literally, here's PlayStation Now, here's our entire back catalog. It's going to be like whatever we put up, and then hey, in a couple weeks we're going to put these few games up, and then in
So-
a couple weeks you're going to put these few games up.
So you think they'll come out and smash a grand slam, right?
And it might be tough for you because it's streaming, so you got to have a really good internet connection to do it.
How dare you?
I did the beta testing for it. It worked. It worked perfect.
So it won't work on AT&T cable?
Probably not.
Damn.
It won't work on tinfoil and antenna wire. I mean,
Aw.
that's what I really want. But I think if they come out, if they do this PlayStation Now thing, they got to come out with sweet releases at first. I mean, at least it's got to be worth the first run, right? Maybe. I mean, wouldn't you think that they would come out of the gate
You would
running?
think-
You would hope so, anyway.
think. It was already supposed to be out, and I still don't even think it's out of beta yet.
Dang.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's supposed to be coming pretty
Soon.
soon.
I'd think something like that.
Maybe it is because wasn't it supposed to be kind of timed with like the PlayStation TV release?
When is that?
That's
Yeah.
out.
Is
Oh,
it?
that's out
That's
already?
Yeah.
Now is that now?
Damn.
Is that something you guys would get?
Absolutely not.
See, I wouldn't
No.
either
No.
because I have just I'm
Especially
inundated.
because- yeah, I already have.
Hulu Plus,
I've got
Netflix.
I've got
Yeah.
my Apple TV,
Brettflix,
which is
yeah.
how I had to watch Constantine because my stupid on-demand wouldn't work.
Well, again, I'm so inundated with like TV broadcasting stuff, movies,
Yeah.
Voodoo account, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's PlayStation TV really going to do, and what kind of audience are they gunning for? In
Well,
something
isn't
like-
there supposed to be certain ones exclusive to?
There are, and this is what I was talking to Sean about. Is like
Oh.
they're doing. Are you familiar with Powers at all? Comic series.
I have some powers, but no.
Powers by Brian Michael Bendis. They're turning that into a TV series, and it's going to be only like through PlayStation TV.
They're doing the Netflix deal where Netflix
Right.
is running its own
yeah,
shows.
Amazon too. Even Amazon's another one.
Yeah,
Are
they're
they
starting-
doing
their-
their own shows now
They're
too?
starting to get one.
Amazon's
They have
doing
one
their own
with Ron
shows.
Perlman. They have one with
What?
John Goodman. Yeah. Yeah, apparently
Yes.
these are amazing shows too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the only thing that's gonna piss me off is like I want to check this Powers show out, but I'm
Well,
not
yeah.
buying a PlayStation TV for it.
Well, and then I love those shows because I mean, I've watched a few episodes of House of Cards. I like that show. I have so much. I'm so backlogged on shows that I'm not gonna continue to watch a show if I'm backlogged on other shows that I really like. But
Yeah.
these Netflix originals are really good. They're
Mhm.
pretty good. They'll probably have, of course, they'll have some shows that are just throwaways.
Yeah.
But a show like that one.
Yep.
I mean, damn.
Dang,
Would
man.
you go out and get something just for a single show? And I don't think I would. I don't think you guys would either.
No.
I mean, it's got to
No.
be mind blowing.
You know what's weird? I'll do it for a game. I will buy another system for a game, but for a TV show, no way.
Well, yeah, that. I mean, but in the scope of things, media being media,
Right.
that's just first of all, it's another box to connect. It's more wires.
And it's not terribly expensive either, but it's just like
it's not worth
I
the
would
value.
be buying it for this, and then the thing's going to sit there because I have all these other sources to do the exact same thing.
With the exception of just some content.
The only other thing that it can do that you'd be like, maybe that would be okay, is it can, it can AirPlay or stream, whatever you want to technically call it, your PlayStation 4. So if you have your PlayStation 4 in the bedroom, you can hook up your PlayStation TV in the living room, and you can technically stream whatever you have on the PS4, like in the living room through the PlayStation TV.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good deal.
That's about it though.
How much is the unit?
$100.
$100. So just like an Apple TV.
Yeah.
Going back to what Mike mentioned about having all these different boxes with just some content,
Yeah.
I think they put out just enough on each one to make you wanna or have to buy it, because like Amazon doesn't have some things I want to watch on Netflix.
So frustrating.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't want to spend another $8
Yeah.
when
yeah.
I'm spending $100 a year already.
Oh my God, it's the worst, and it's the worst. I get the email that's like, oh, your Netflix has been updated, or your Hulu's been updated, and your what was the other one? Amazon's been updated. I mean, I'm like, God, how many subscription sites am I subscribed to?
Right.
Well, it's like too many almost. And yes, for that same reason, I can't get X on Y. I can't get Z on B. I don't know. I'm just throwing letters out there at this point.
I think it's about time too. I love that HBO is actually going to finally offer their own streaming service.
Next year.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Enough clamor has been made where they are going to do a streaming.
Because the HBO Go has been...
You can get so many of these other things to watch via these boxes or the internet or whatever. This is gonna if I get HBO and then I have like Netflix and I have like the stuff through my Apple TV, it's gonna be like goodbye cable.
Dude, I totally I will say it right now. I'll be subscribing to HBO because the shows that are on there are awesome.
Yeah.
What I love about HBO Go is not only do they put the episode up that aired on the actual channel like almost instantly, sometimes they will do like they did it for Entourage a few times where you watch the episode and then they'll put the next episode exclusively on HBO Go.
What?
So you can actually get ahead of the show.
Well, it'd be cool if they had. I know HBO Go has an app for the phone.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm assuming they're going to come out with streaming apps for like the iPad and the iPhone and the Androids. I'm assuming that's part of the deal too.
Well, they do already, don't they?
Through their Go. So are they just taking Go subscriptions, or is this a whole new deal?
It'll essentially just be like, here, give us $5 a month. It's HBO, so it'll probably be like $10 a month.
Give us $300 a month
Right.
for
Yeah.
HBO,
Right.
and you're gonna pay that.
Exactly.
You're gonna like it. Right. Take my money.
Yeah.
I feel like it would probably be in the $8 to $10 range a month, and then you just have a subscription to HBO Go.
Wow.
Now I wonder if they're gonna pull that HBO Go subscription from already people that already subscribe to HBO. Like it's one of those things where you have to subscribe to that as well.
No.
Maybe, but yeah, I would assume if you're already locked in with the channel, they're going to give you that as a feature.
They don't want to burn cable companies that bad just yet. Just yet.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. They are doing that's the whole back end part of that deal. Man, can you imagine what went down for a deal like that to be open and on the table?
Everybody complaining.
I wonder what we're going to see as far as fallout on the news wise. I mean, has there been any pushback, cable or dish or anything like that?
Not yet.
It seemed like you'd want to push back against something like that.
You absolutely, but
Yeah.
Then again, maybe there's also something, behind closed doors that we don't know about.
I think
There's
HBO.
a lot of that.
I think HBO is one of those channels that has such pull with cable companies. If
Maybe
they're like,
so.
hey, we're not going to carry your channel, they're going to be like,
Okay, later.
we'll throw our shit on Netflix exclusively.
Again, that HBO is an iconic channel. It'd be really cool to just sign up for that. But I actually learned some shit, so I'm really pumped about it. Kind of, I can't wait.
I get HBO,
dude.
I wouldn't have to. Yeah.
The other thing is, like, anyone you know with an HBO account, you're like, hey man, can I get some of that password? Because
what was the guy from Chappelle's show? Ashy Larry.
Ashy Larry.
More of that HBO.
Let me get some of that HBO. Dude, that's gonna be that. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the whole idea of it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done something where you thought the the outcome would be better than it turned out to be because you did something good?
I did, yes. I have a younger cousin who was born diabetic, and it carried out through his life, obviously. And I'm babysitting him one day, and he comes in, and he didn't know how to take care of himself at the time. The only thing he knew how to do was to come tell an adult his sugar was low. So he comes in, he's like, Sean, my sugar's low. I don't feel so good. I'm like, oh, my God, let's go get you something to eat. And I knew it was either like an orange, a can of Coke, or like a cookie.
Something fast.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, I'm not finding any Coke in the fridge because their parents didn't like to have sugar in the house. So I'm not finding any oranges, and I'm like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? Pop open the cupboard, I see a jar of cookies. I was like, yes, I got a cookie for him. So I break one out, I give it to him. He starts eating it, and he's getting worse and worse. And I'm going, what is wrong? So I give him another cookie.
Unbelievable.
Those cookies are sugar-free. They're diabetic cookies.
Oh, my God. That is unbelievable.
So thankfully, she had a thing of insulin on the ready, and I had to go poke, give him the insulin pump, and...
Well, the thing is with that, too, is
Yeah.
even if they were sugared up,
Yeah.
it would take so long for the body to break it down that he would continue on the decline for like 4 hours.
So he would have spiked.
He would have.
whoosh.
Oh yeah. The return is like it's like launching a shuttle to space.
Wow.
It's huge. Yeah.
Is it wrong that, like, in my head, as you're telling that story, I'm picturing Sean just jamming, like, 5 cookies in his mouth first? Like, here,
Right.
have a cookie.
Have a cooker. Yeah, he would sound like that too. He just crush it all over the kid's face and like up his nostrils just to make sure he got
And
it.
she's
in.
like, they're sugar-free. And I thought they tasted like shit.
Oh. Dude, sugar-free cookies taste like cardboard. You might as
Yeah.
well eat paper cups
Yeah.
at that point. Josh, you got one?
You know, I really thought we were going to have some completely different directions here, but it's pretty crazy how similar our stories are.
Oh, Josh,
Okay.
you almost killed
Did
a
you almost
child
kill
as
a
well.
kid too?
No,
Darn it. Whoops.
Yeah. Darn it.
mine wasn't close.
How close was it?
Oh, God.
Okay, so I feel terrible about this, so I'm sorry, but I was house sitting for my brother and his wife, and I had to watch like all of their animals, which was like the dog and like an insane amount of cats, like 5 or 6 cats.
That's
One
a
of the-
normal amount.
One of
Were
the
you
cats,
watching Mike's house?
How dare you?
No.
How dare you?
One of the cats was diabetic, so I had to give the thing insulin shots.
Mm-hmm.
Older cat, it was already sick and everything. It had to get insulin shots. I did everything, followed all the instructions every single day, every morning, every night, like to a T. Like,
Yeah, because you don't want to mess around.
I don't, man. Like
Yeah.
that's my thing. Like
Somebody's
I
fur
take it-
baby.
I take it very seriously. Like even if it's like an animal that like I can't stand, like it annoyed me at one point, and I'm just not a fan of it.
Right.
I don't care. I'll set that aside. I'll still be friends with it.
That's why we're friends.
That's correct. you are also fuzzy.
I am
Oh.
quite furry.
But one morning it won't move like from where it's at. It's just laying there. It doesn't care about its food, which is crazy because it was just a fat, hungry cat. And I give it its shot and everything, and it's just I had to go to work so I could check on it like a little before I left, and it wasn't good. So, but I sent them like the message to let them know like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm gonna have to wait till I get like back home from work to check on it and everything. And it was only worse like when I got back, and it didn't exactly die on my watch, but the cat did not make it.
What?
So they came back home. It was actually that day that they were coming back home, and the cat did not.
You are unbelievable. We have a murderer in our midst.
I followed
say
the
mittens?
instructions perfectly. I said I feel terrible.
We have a murderer in our midst. Mittens.
Maybe I shouldn't have told this story.
Dude, that was an
Aw.
outstanding story,
Yeah.
and that cat is haunting you every day.
Well, you did everything you could, too. What else would there have been?
I
When
think.
it's the cat's time, it's the cat's time.
I
Did they
know,
tell you
it
like in
just-
emergency situations? Because some people forget directions. Not that you would have, but that they
Right.
would have forgotten to tell you, hey, if Mittens
this
is laying
happens-
down and bleeding from her anus, you
Yeah.
should give her some sugars.
Yeah.
Did they tell you
It wasn't anything
like
like that. No, it was just make sure that there's fill the syringe up this much with this. 1 in the morning and.
Well, how old was the cat?
cat? Was pretty old. I'm only ballparking, but I would say the cat was probably at least 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
It was an older.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
on the way out.
It was
Yeah.
it was an
It's
older
on the other
cat.
side of the hill.
So it sounds like you did everything you could.
She was cute.
Aw, I missed her.
The cat or the girl with the Samoa?
The girl that just walked by.
No, it sounds like you did everything you could. It's just nature took its course on the cat finally.
It did. It just
Dirty nature.
just made me feel bad that it was.
You should feel
While I was
bad. You
watching.
killed a goddamn animal, so you should feel bad.
This comes from the guy who intentionally ran over a squirrel a few weeks ago.
Mike.
Let's.
By intentionally, he means completely and utterly on accident.
I was in the van with him. He darted right. He drove over 2 lanes to kill it.
Sean, first of all, was not in the van with me, and if he was, I would have had to kill a witness as well. so Sean would not be here today had he been in the car with me.
We'd be
that
looking for a new podcast member.
day. Exactly.
And the show would be a lot better.
We're taking open applications in case somebody says something we don't like.
You realize that people are going to be like, hey, I'll take Sean's spot. And I'm going to be like, all right, let's interview.
Sean is he's very corrupt. So if anyone comes to him with some good cash, he'll
Yeah.
step out of the podcast.
Oh,
for it.
easily.
All right, any synchronous moments in your lives lately? Has anyone had any of those?
I moved to Delaware to open a gold buying store, and I went to the Food Lion next door, which is like the East's Kroger. Walking through the parking lot, and I step on this ring, and it's a class ring from 1989. Look at it, it's real gold. I was like, somebody dropped this. So I picked it up, brought it to the store with me, set it on the counter, because the cops will come by once a week to pick up forms and stuff like that. This lady comes in 2 or 3 days later, and she's selling her stuff, and we're talking, and I ask her, have you ever sold gold before? And she goes, yeah, I used to, and I ran out, and my husband, before he died, had his cabin broken into. I was like, oh, that sucks. What was stolen? She goes, oh, he had a few silver candle holders, some silverware. They took his class ring. And I was like, what year was this class ring? And she goes, 1989.
Ding.
And I went, hold on. And I ran into the back and brought the ring out. I didn't get it to the counter, and she started weeping.
Wow, she figured out you stole it?
Yeah, she knew I took it. I knocked her husband over. No, she saw the ring and started crying, and I was like, this is the ring, isn't it? And she goes, yeah, and she looks in the inside, and his name was engraved in there.
Wow.
And she goes, what do I have to do to get this? I was like, here.
You gave it to her?
So I just gave it right back to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet, dude.
Yeah.
That's not...
Good
That
man.
is a really good synchronous moment, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your other one?
Yesterday I was feeling pretty down. Just one of those days where life isn't working out for you. You begin wondering certain things. And I get this text message at like 3 o'clock. And Scoop's finding this funny, so I appreciate that. They're just feelings.
I love you.
You know what's funny? Josh needs a text like that.
He does.
I text him stuff to cheer him up all the time.
He doesn't like you.
That's true.
I don't like you either. Sorry, I had to do that.
Yup, no problem, was his cheer up text.
Yup, no problem.
You asked if you could get a ride. What do you want?
Oh my god. It's like the best. That is the best answer to that text. You couldn't have done it any better. Okay, I'm on your side for this.
Yeah,
I'm on your
I'm
side.
actually on your side now too.
Wow, you changed Sean within seconds.
Bam.
All
Yep.
right. So anyway, I get this text right about 3 o'clock, and it says the following. Now I'm going to preface.
How are you?
I'm going to Skyrim. I'm going to preface this by saying that I have no religious affiliations whatsoever. I'm not endorsing nor slamming religion. This was just the text I got. Good morning. And then in quotes, and not only that, but we also glory in tribulation, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope. Romans 5:3-4. Trials, difficulties, and adversities are often God's way of maturing us into people who look more like his son. No one likes trials, but by faith we can begin to understand how God may want to use them for our good. Amen. Love you and be blessed. Now, this is from a 903 number. This number is out of Texas.
It's
I don't know
outstanding.
anybody in Texas. So I get a little high-spirited. I text her back. I'm like, thank you for that. I really needed it. But I have to ask, who are you? And it's this woman, like I said, from Texas who was texting her cousin, and I got that cousin's phone number.
Wow.
Because I had switched phones on Tuesday, got a new number.
That's actually really cool because that probably filled the void.
Yeah.
And like actually it did pull you up, right?
Yeah. Like all the things that were happening with, everything else, I was like, oh, this is good. This is all right. And it was just getting shittier and shittier.
Right.
Then I get this thing, and all of a sudden the world's bright again.
Just a few words sometimes it's crazy that got sent to you at the right moment.
Yeah.
And it's pertinent.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that it's actually fitting and talking about, your character and going through trials and things like that. That's pretty excellent.
Yeah.
And the fact that, the solace comes in where it tells you you're just going to be a better man for it. That's the cool part is like, hey, suffer now, live the rest of your life a champion.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, chapter 5, verse 3.
Right cross.
Josh, you got one?
I'm going again. Yes.
You are part of this podcast.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Hey, Josh, welcome to your podcast.
Is he sleeping over there?
He's doing something.
He ate his
Yes.
cookie. He's done for the night.
Yeah, he finished that 100% vegan cookie.
I did. It was delicious. Yeah, I have here
Let's hear
again something a little emotional for me, but well, as you guys know, I write, or I try to write anyway, pretty often. And just recently I was writing something that was I was basically writing to myself, for myself, but I was writing it in like letter format as if I were speaking to someone else. So in part of this, I was writing and talking about my grandpa who had passed, several years ago. And I've been thinking about him lately, and it was just really weird timing that, like, after thinking about him and writing, a little bit about him at a certain time of my life, like a couple of days later, my dad gives me this letter. My grandpa was stationed over in Paris, France during World War II. This letter is actually dated July 14th, 1946.
Wow.
Paris, France. And this is a letter that he wrote home to my grandpa's younger brother.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to read the whole letter to you guys or anything, but it's a remarkable letter that he wrote to him, and it just kind of uplifted me too, in that, like, it was like a little bit of what I had been thinking about, which is kind of like the type of person that he was and his character and just how he speaks to his younger brother, saying, you essentially, you better be a good man, don't drink, don't smoke, don't let me hear about you gambling, and just, be a person that people can trust. And
Right.
it just hit me like really hard, and it's an amazing letter, a cool story for me. And
Is it in a way something you could read and it might as well be addressed to you in a way?
yeah. I mean, obviously there's certain things not, because he talks about like his younger brother learning to drive his car and things like that.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, you definitely could take parts of it, and it could be addressed personally that way. Absolutely.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you for listening.
What?
Thank you for allowing me to share it.
Dude, anytime. That's really cool. It's cool to look back at the older generation too, and like a glimpse of their understanding of the world around them versus ours.
This is what I loved about the older generation too. This man is in another country fighting a war, making sure his younger brother's doing okay.
Taking time to just check in.
Yeah.
Essentially, let him know to be a good person.
People go to other cities and forget entire families, so that's kind of...
Yeah. No, that's a really cool story, man. Thank you for sharing that. Well, mine's gonna be, it's synchronous, but it's definitely not that deep, unfortunately. Although I've had, several moments in my life where things just worked out right, where the gears just fit in the right moment at the right time. And they're unforgettable, but some of them are kind of hilarious. So Sean and I stopped at McDonald's for breakfast one day, and pulling around. Mistake number one. And yeah, I did get an Egg McMuffin because I love the ham.
He also cheats. He'll get a medium coffee in a large cup to get the Monopoly pieces.
Life pro tip, folks. Get
LPT.
a medium coffee, ask for it in a large cup because you're clumsy. That's what I do. And get those game pieces. I don't even collect them for the game pieces. I've gotten like entire free meals.
We've got a feast waiting to be had.
We are going to eat the most disgusting food for free. No, we came around the drive-thru and we faced a store which I used to work for back, I don't know, 10 years, maybe more, maybe 15 years. I'm old as hell. And I was just recalling some stories to Sean and speaking to him about some of the people that used to work there. And I said, well, the people there, I haven't seen some of those people for like, obviously that entire time. I've never gone back and hung out or anything like that. Lo and behold, here comes one of them up the sidewalk. A guy I used to talk to every day when I'd come into work. His name was Dave, and he just happened to just manifest. And I climbed, if you remember, because the drive-thru, you can't open your door. So I'm in the middle of telling Sean about this, and here's this guy. And I climbed through the window, and I yelled, "Hey, Dave!" And he looked everywhere but at the van, which was hilarious. He looked up in the sky.
And then he yells, "Dave's not here," and runs in the restaurant.
Dave had no idea who Mike was at first.
Yeah, the crazy part was he approached the vehicle apprehensively.
Yeah.
And I had opened the door as much as I could at that point and kind of stepped out because I wanted to give him one of those really good hugs. And he looked at me and he's like, "I'm sorry, but I don't." And I said, "I'm Mike, remember?" And he goes, Oh my God, your face. He didn't recognize me at first, but the beard, it was like I'm wearing a mask when I have this beard on. He couldn't really tell who I was at first, but then once he figured it out, I could see the wheels just turning and the memories playing in the head, That was a really cool moment. Plus he was a really cool dude, so it was cool to run into him again. And with this whole synchronous bit, what are the chances? Sure, I'm right across from the store. What are the chances the guy still works there 15 years later?
As you're talking about
as I'm talking
about it.
Yep, and let me double down.
And I will verify this. He did say, and this guy, Dave, and he manifested, and Mike stopped mid-story. He's like, "Oh my God."
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Day before, let me double down on this guy.
Oh, yeah.
The day before, I'm sitting with family talking about this gentleman who showed up at our wedding after we had invited him and he didn't send us the RSVP back. I'm walking down literally to go to the aisle and the guy is standing there and I'm like, "Oh, hey, nice to see you." So he just shows up, right? So I'm talking to Joanna and the family, and we're talking about the baby shower that came up, that was coming up that weekend. And I said, you guys might as well get an extra plate just in case, so-and-so shows up. I don't even finish saying the sentence. The door flies open, and in walks so-and-so.
There's like lightning and fog coming in.
I couldn't believe it.
This guy is like Beetlejuice.
This guy is like Beetlejuice. He shows up when you least want him to.
Yeah.
He just hey, listen, I'm not mad at the guy. I just think it was crazy. Here's another guy I was talking about. I think that whole week, Sean.
Yeah.
I think that whole week I was on fire.
The reason Mike's not saying his name is because we don't want him showing up now.
Exactly. So
we don't have a fourth mic. We don't have a setup. I don't have nothing for this guy.
I don't have time for that guy right now.
We'll just call him Shazam.
Shazam. All right. This kind of flows in with like awkward social situations, but at the same time, do you like to be touched? I mean, it's funny to walk in and see all your friends and everybody's hugging one another like that's what you're supposed to do. I'm a huge fan of hugging. I'm a huge fan of the bro hug. I do the bro hug. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to give you a bro hug. But if it's a woman, of course, I also give full hugs.
Knowing you as long as I did, shaking your head normally is weird as fuck now.
It's weird. It doesn't...
Yeah.
It's gross. It's kind of gross. Yeah, exactly. I'm pointing at you with my U-Haul pen.
And my comb. You're getting the double.
and and the comb. But any one of you guys not a huge fan of the touching?
I embrace it. Like a hug, I embrace it.
He embraces the embrace.
There's a trusting feeling when somebody's willing to throw out the arms and give you a hug. Not the ass out polite hug.
Yeah, because that's
It's
always
like,
the airframe hug. It's a little weird.
Yeah, like the really cool, like, hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah.
Second pat, and then you're talking again. That's
I don't let go until I feel a heartbeat. Josh?
Yeah.
I used to be very, very exclusively a handshake guy.
Yeah.
I don't really know why or when, but I don't know. Maybe I just got more comfortable with, being around people and being around other huggers and stuff too. I'm a big time hugger, man. I will. There's obviously situations where you're only going to go for the handshake, where that's what's appropriate.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, man, I don't care if I just met you. I'm probably going in for a hug. Just, I feel like the world could always use more love.
Our mutual friend Chris, I saw him. I mean, the guy's not even from this area. I saw him standing next to a guy I've never met before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I gave Chris a hug. Promptly gave his friend a hug too.
Yeah.
That guy did not look more surprised.
No.
He could not be more surprised to receive a hug from a stranger.
I'm doing this thing now where if I meet somebody for the first time, they go to throw the hand out, and I'm like, I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
And most people are like, oh, that's nice.
Right.
Very rarely have I
that's
gotten
okay.
shot down.
Yeah, that's probably at least the way to do it. Where you can tell like they're sensing that awkwardness of like, what do we do? Just
Right.
go ahead and announce it. Just be like, I'm a hugger. I'm coming in.
That breaks it immediately.
Yeah.
But I know, and I've seen, and I've been to a lot of places where someone doesn't want to be approached like that. I've even had close friends who aren't used to that kind of a contact. And I've also had friends who I bro hug, who I'm the only friend in their entire circle of friends who bro hugs.
Mm-hmm.
So they tend to just say, okay, bye, and then walk away from each other. But I like the bro hug. I feel like this is again a trust thing. I'm bringing you in to a very vulnerable area.
Yep.
I'm showing you that I trust you. That's a big deal for me. But again, like I said, there are people who don't want to be hugged at all, who don't want to be touched at all, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But approaching that type of person to say goodbye might be a little bit awkward. They might stand in the corner to try to like block any hugs. You know what I'm saying? They actively like hug block.
Now, I've known Mike for going on 7 years now. And with that, I felt like I've known his wife just as long. So she comes in, I give Mike a hug, I give her a hug, all as well. We're at lunch last year in the mall, and we're talking about hugging and handshaking, and she drops the biggest bomb on me ever. She goes,
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to be hugged by people I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, handshakes even kind of weird me out. I kind of I put my pizza down. I was like, I've been hugging you for the last 6 years, and you're telling me this now?
Right. Every time you hug her, she douses herself with kerosene just to burn the germs.
I would do that.
I'm just
I'd
kidding.
do that.
I feel like you told me that story before the first time that I met her, so I waited. Like I remember the first time that I met her. Like I waited. I'm gonna wait and see how she wants to approach this.
Yeah, because you don't want to go in being tip of the spear and all like hoorah front line.
Exactly. Which I am. I am all. I'll like I said, I'll dive right in with the hug. But like I'll be aware if someone is just kind of like, please don't. Though.
And it makes me feel bad that I'm that guy that goes, I'm a hugger. Maybe it feels like I'm pressuring them now, like I'm swaying their opinion.
Sure.
Like, I have to now to be polite.
Well,
and you can tell by the way they hug too.
Oh yeah. Well, there's standoffish huggers won't come in that close. But there's this prevailing thing, and I'm seeing it more and more where people don't want it and don't want it to happen. I'm actually seeing that more.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really? I feel the opposite.
Well, it depends on your circle of people. Yeah. Like branching out or meeting new people, meeting people outside my sphere, complete strangers who just abhor. They don't want anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be touched. My brother-in-law's friend, for instance, I mean, I saw the guy and he looked like he was smiley and happy. So I go, bring it in. And I just hug the guy. Afterwards, I don't know, like 10 minutes later, my brother-in-law goes, dude, that guy doesn't hug anybody. It's like he was, as soon as I let the guy go, apparently he was just sweating bullets. Like that was not something he does. Oh yeah. and like people's kids too. Like, you know, I don't know.
That's a
When I was
dicey area for me.
well, when I was a kid,
Well,
we'll have to delve into that one. But when I was a kid, I was always taught, okay, respectfully, you go hug and you give a kiss on the cheek. But that was culturally. So when I got out of college and that, I would go up, you know, somebody's wife or somebody's girlfriend or one of my girlfriends. There were friends that were just girls, you know what I'm saying? To greet them, I would kiss them on the cheek before I hugged them. So there was this whole other thing that I had to do, which made me feel weird because now I'm kissing my friend's wife.
That definitely makes you stand out.
Well, it's a foreign thing. It's a different thing. That's all.
Yeah.
They do it everywhere else, but you know, I feel like if there are people here who are like against hugging, there are probably people there who don't want the kiss on the cheek.
Absolutely. You're going to get a mixed reaction on that one. I would laugh it off and just be like, oh, he kissed me. But you're going to get people that might actually clench their fist.
I greet my mom and dad with that kiss. And it's called the kiss of peace. Like you're giving someone a kiss of peace. You're giving them trust.
Yeah.
If I could figure out how to do that without leaving like slobber or making it seem like I'm really going in for a kiss, I'd do it. I think it's classy as hell.
I would be scared shitless if you came in for a kiss with me. We'd get Velcro beards going.
Oh man, the friction, the fire,
the heat.
The DIY weekend.
Oh yeah.
When Joanna came down and she brought her family with.
Yeah.
And I went down the line and just hugged everybody.
Just hug her.
That's what you do.
Joanna was accepting. Her mom was accepting, and then I got to the ones I really didn't know.
Right.
And like I got to Jim last, and he was like, "I'm good."
I'm good.
And he stepped back. He's like, "I'm good."
Oh my god, that is awesome.
It was hysterical because everyone I was going to, like, I remember meeting Amber once.
Yeah.
So she was okay.
Right.
Jason,
and
not
she's
so
a
much.
hugger.
Yeah. Jason, not so much. I got to Jim. He's like, no. Okay.
And Jason's a hugger.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You learn as you in your sphere. You know who's open to touching.
Yeah.
And then you don't touch the others. That's all. You just avoid the touching.
Just try to sell it to him. Like, I don't think you realize how soft this hug is going to be.
Oh my God! Can you imagine pitching a guy on how soft your hug is going to be?
Come on, man! It's gentle. It's like hugging a cloud. Come on, just one
like
squeeze.
Hugging a cloud.
Just one squeeze.
I've heard him say that. I've heard him say that before.
On the opposite side of soft hugs, handshakes. The handshake of death.
Oh, the premature grip?
The premature grip, the one where the guy has like the anaconda vice.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's friends of mine I'm terrified to shake hands with.
Yeah.
Because of that death grip.
Yeah, you mentioned Jason, he'll break your wrist.
Yeah.
He'll break your wrist. That's why the hug's more safe. It's a safe play.
Yeah.
The hug's a safe play. Well, thanks for joining us on another episode of Tales from the Void podcast. We've been your illuminating hosts.
Sean?
Josh?
The scramble he had to make for that microphone.
Right on. And I've been Mike. We'd like to give you a shout out to our brothers in airwaves, the One Upcast. Find them on Facebook and Twitter at One Upcast and visit their blog at oneup-cup.com. Also remember to visit our sponsors, Detroit Grooming Co. for your gentlemanly needs. Find them on Facebook and Twitter at Detroit Grooming Co. and on Instagram at Detroit Grooming. Also, their website, www.detroitgrooming.com. Cellar Door Soap and Skin, our other sponsor. You can find them on the web at cellardoorsoapandskin.com. Find them on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Cellar Door Soap and Skin. Lastly, check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Tales from the Void Cast, YouTube and iTunes, and SoundCloud at Tales from the Void. Thanks for joining us, and good night.
Peace, yo.